Hi, I'm Melissa Holmes. Hope, history, and hometown fun are all on the lineup this week. From teddy bears that are changing lives to inspiring stories from Vietnam veterans and the sights and sounds of the Genesee County Fair. We've got plenty of reasons to celebrate. Here's news to celebrate this week.
Are you ready to help me stuff up the bear?
Inside Build-A-Bear, each stuffy, yes, is cute.
It's perfect.
But every bear Allie Gagne builds serves a much bigger purpose.
It just kind of provides them that sense of comfort that, not only were they thought of, but they have something they can hold on to.
It all started 15 years ago when Allie's little sister Olivia was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare bone cancer, at just 8 years old. Before one surgery, she was terrified, and that's when child life specialist Tara Young stepped in.
I grabbed a Build-A-Bear out of the closet and gave it to her, so it was a way that she can hold something to help her feel more secure, more comforted while we talk about everything that was happening that day.
That one bear made such an impact that even before she finished treatment, Olivia told her parents she wanted to give bears to other children. And that's how Olivia's Bears was born.
It was life-changing that morning for us, and it's stuck with Olivia. I mean, obviously, here we are 15 years later, and it was something that Olivia has never forgotten, and I'm trying to carry that on.
Got some of those for summer.
Today, Olivia is healthy but living out of state, so Allie leads the charity. Together with her family and a team of volunteers, they've delivered about 2,000 bears. But that's just the beginning. They've also donated more than $150,000 in toys, care packages, and gift cards, created an annual scholarship, and even built this teen room at Golisano Children's Hospital, a place where kids can forget, even for a little while, why they're here.
They've really gone above and beyond. We're so incredibly grateful and thankful for them.
Here is your new furry friend.
Thank you. Allie says she'll never take the credit because to her, this is about carrying on Olivia's mission and making sure every child with an illness knows they're never facing it alone.
It's a really wonderful thing, and I'm honored to be able to do that and to be able to honor Olivia and then those who have passed from cancer, and then also continue to bring awareness to those who are fighting.
Well, if you'd like to support Olivia's Bears, donate or request a bear for a child facing a serious illness, or learn more about the organization's biggest fundraiser of the year, the annual golf tournament coming up in September, you can head to oliviasbears.com. We've got a link to that when you click on this story on our website, WGRZ.com. For The Selfless Among Us, I'm Melissa Holmes, Channel 2 News.
Meet Bob Wilder. He grew up in Williamsville before he moved out to California. He was adopted at birth and didn't search for his biological parents until he had his son.
I went to my parents and said, there may be a time in my life that I would want to pursue finding my biological parents just for medical reasons for my son.
30 years later, Bob decided to do something about it. He not only found his mother, Betty, on Ancestry.com, but another possible family connection, a half-sister named Tammy who lives in Lackawanna.
We ended up just coming to the realization that, we are actually brother and sister through our mother.
A half-brother and sister who had never met, but both grew up in Buffalo at the same time.
Today we watched the moment that Tammy and Bob reunited for the first time in their lives as siblings.
Into our playground.
Yeah.
Excuse me, can I interrupt for a second?
Oh my God.
A bond that can't be described. A brother and a sister together at last.
He's not really here, but he's here. Amazing. Really is. Aww.
Tammy grew up with two brothers with their mother, Betty. They didn't even know there was an older brother, Bob, that was given up for adoption in the 50s until Tammy reached out.
I just want to tell my mom it's okay. I mean, we're together. Yep. We're together. That's all that matters.
Bob and Tammy also discovered another sister, Kim, who also lived in Buffalo. Kim has since passed. The two say there's no point in thinking about the life they didn't have together, but to make every moment count from here on out.
A lifetime to catch up
Yes.
on and just look forward to, the future being together.
Yes.
On your side in Lackawanna, Maura Vaughn, Channel 2 News.
The post office has carried moments and memories for generations.
How old our postal system is and how vital it is to America. We need this.
Messages passed from one person to another, sealed with stamps. And now,
I love all the colors. I love how colorful and vibrant it is.
the stories and history of Niagara Falls are being preserved in a place centered around connection.
I think they're surprised to see it here. It's not the typical place to expect a mural.
This post office wall on Main Street has been Kaylee Day's canvas for around 2 weeks.
It feels like carrying on the legacy of something from the past. I'm not sure that that's really something that's done so much anymore. It was very common in the 1930s.
She's bringing the region's stories to life through the messenger of the mist.
I kind of wanted to flow out, almost like you're standing at the bottom of it and it's coming towards you. So we have the vintage-inspired stamps from the Pan American Exposition, a tightrope walker, which could be Nick Wallenda, could be whoever, Daredevil from the past, the gorge, the falls, and the Maid of the Mist.
Stories that are remembered and shared in a place built on connection.
And it's going to be there for the years to come. Everyone's going to be able to see it and walk in here and know that someone local did it, and I think that's really cool. That's awesome for Niagara Falls.
Preserved on the post office wall.
Something that I created, that it's resonating with them is always an amazing feeling every single time.
Kaylee says the mural should be finished by Thursday. On your side in Niagara Falls, Courtney Courtwright, Channel 2 News.
Man, when I was a kid, I used to just ride that ride all day. It's hard to even look at now, for goodness sakes. The Sea Ray, one of the rides. I guess, Nico, Gene, I'll talk to you about the rides first. How you doing?
Very good.
So tell me about the rides.
Well, we have probably the largest midway we've seen at the Genesee County Fair in several years. We're very excited to have them here. They brought many great rides like the Sea Ray, the Himalaya behind us.
Sure. It's traditional. Look around. I see a wonderful Ferris wheel and merry-go-round, the whole deal.
Absolutely. Also rides, games, food.
I'll put you on the spot. You guys have a deal going on with the rides?
So we do.
Okay.
On Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, we run Kids Day specials.
Oh, that's cool.
From 1 until 3 to get a reduced price wristband to ride the rides. The wristbands, once you buy them that day, they're good all day long for one price.
Oh, that's all. I talked about this on Daybreak too. It's a good sized fair. People, you don't have to choose one county fair, but this is a more traditional size county fair. You can do you can do everything in one day.
Absolutely, that's what we go for here. We try and be a true county fair.
Upcoming attractions.
We've got our enduro race tonight. We have stock car racing on Thursday, our huge demolition derby on Friday, and semi-truck pulls on Saturday.
And a lot of course, 4-H is a huge part of what you guys
Absolutely.
do.
We have a ton of animals here. We had a lot of our open shows earlier this week. Our 4-H shows are going on now. Barns are full.
Agricultural county, man.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Appreciate you. Of course, a fine native son right here, Nico Gene. We're in Batavia. Of course, a close drive from wherever you are in our viewing area. On your side in the town of Batavia, I'm Kevin O'Neill, Channel 2 News.
And we are here in the house that Frank built, or
Yeah.
Chico built.
Yeah, I don't know about that. A lot of people built this place for
When
sure.
you look around, I mean, you must get a tear to your eye because as we were talking a little while ago, it's kind of like seeing your firstborn graduate from college, right?
It's incredible. You know, we're almost 5 years in now, so and it's really getting close to completion. So, yeah, I've had some days where it really caught me, and I had to, take a step back and be like, wow, it's just incredible. So my role is to be part of every aspect of the design from the build's perspective. So to lead the exterior, the facade, the site, the interior, the signage, the experiential, the sound, the vision.
Like
People
I
call
said.
it. Yeah. Well, and I explained to my daughter, she's like, she heard the word Imagineer at Disney. So if you can imagine the Imagineers built Disney, I'm kind of the Imagineer for the Buffalo Bills.
How do you elevate from basically the bottom rung of the Buffalo Sabres to this?
23 years of hard work. The first structural thing that I built for the Sabres was Sabretooth's house in the atrium.
But I will say this, when we walked into this stadium, the wow factor, even for people who are associated with the Bills, I mean, that was amazing to walk in and see this.
Yeah, being here just about every day for the last couple years on site, that's not so much, I don't get that anymore, but I pay close attention to people as they walk in for the first time, because they're just, your breath gets taken away by the scale, the magnitude, the beauty, how it feels like home. It's clearly Bill's Stadium.
Talk about the seating.
It's just a gradient pattern, so it goes from at the field level, starts at red, and then it gradiates to blue. Ownership saw it early on. This is one where you're pushing the envelope a little bit, so you provide a lot of things to ownership, and they loved it.
Terry had one thing that he said. He wants to make sure when you walk into this building, you know you're in Buffalo.
Yeah, and it's a little easier to do in the bowl. When you get into the tighter spaces, that's where it becomes more of a challenge, and that's where I had to pay very close attention with the design team, because he mentioned it not only in the bowl, but within any spot. Like, take me there when I open my eyes. I better know pretty quickly that I'm in Buffalo.
SUNY Niagara catcher and Cheektowaga native Dalton Harper putting his nose to the grindstone for years, getting the first taste of the fruits of his labor during the MLB draft.
It's finally starting to pay off, and I'm excited to keep going to work and hopefully make it to the big leagues one day.
Harper, a driving force behind SUNY Niagara's national title run this spring. And head coach Matt Klingersmith says he often keeps his composure as the leader of the Thunderwolves. But these past few months for him are testing his emotions.
Some tears coming out of joy and excitement. But yeah, I was happy I could spend the time with my parents.
He was our team captain. And when no one's looking, he's still in the weight room when everybody leaves. He's the last guy to leave that. He's one of the last guys to leave the batting cage every day. He goes above and beyond. His hard work and everything he does is professionalism.
Harper joining a growing list of Western New York products breaking into pro baseball. He credits the region's baseball community for the expansion of the game and his amateur success.
Everybody kind of looks out for each other, and everybody is trying to help each other out and achieve each other's goals. And everybody wants the best for each other. So, and if you have that, everybody's pushing each other to be better. And I think that's what makes the baseball here so good.
And you're seeing a better quality of talent come out of Western New York, and more players getting drafted. And that's kudos to all levels, where it starts from the Little League to the travel coaches to the high school coaches.
The Braves testing Harper this afternoon and expecting him to officially sign his contract Monday. He'll be assigned to one of Atlanta's minor league affiliates to begin his professional career once he signs. I'm Nate Mills reporting on your side for Channel 2 Sports.
Owner of Jay's Barbershop, Jason Lape, has been cutting hair for years.
I've had customers that, I started cutting their hair when they were in high school, and then they graduate college, and now they're getting married.
But one day a year, his normal schedule changes.
Another 21 hours and 37 minutes left.
24 hours straight of cutting hair. An initiative that's personal for Lape.
I had a customer for several years that had been coming to me, and unfortunately, a couple of years ago, he had completed suicide, and so the first annual event that we hosted, it was to honor him. And so this year, we are going to do the same thing, working around the clock for 24 hours.
From 10 on Saturday morning to 10 Sunday morning, proceeds will go towards the Suicide Prevention Coalition of Erie County.
Unfortunately, locally and nationally, the highest rates of death by suicide are middle-aged men.
Cameron Burns works at Crisis Services. She says the first step in breaking the stigma around suicide conversations is by saying the word out loud.
It can be a really scary word, right? There's a lot of stigmas around that word. And we're not going to solve it if we can't say it. We can't talk about it. So we really talk openly and honestly about suicide at Crisis Services.
The Crisis Services mental health hotline is 24/7 and free to use. First responders focus on support and hospital diversion.
Talk to your friends, be open, call us, get help. That's what we want to do.
The barbershop might not be the first place you think to openly talk about something so personal, but Jay says that's what he loves most about his job.
We get to really know our customers. Not everybody has someone that they can talk to, so we really embrace that aspect of this job, is to be a sounding board for our customers.
Kitchen Club on a Sunday.
It's just nice to come in and listen to some live music with a different kind of sound. Religious affiliation doesn't matter. It's about love, light, and celebrating in community.
And it's Sunday gospel brunch, so there's food and drink too.
Chicken and waffles and our fried lobster, as well as our blueberry pancakes. Amazing.
Can I get a witness?
But it's really the music.
It's not necessarily church. It's inspirational, it makes people feel good, and at the same time, it may meet the need of some people who don't necessarily feel comfortable about going to church or anything like that. You just want to come listen to some good music, something that's clean, makes you feel great while you're eating. My thing has always been, do your best to make people feel better leaving than they did when they came.
On your side, Claudine Ewing, Channel 2 News.
Since 1929 on Central Avenue in Lancaster, the New York store has been woven into the fabric of this community.
I grew up in it. My grandfather started it, my dad. And as a little kid, I worked here. And then when I got out of school, I said, well, I'll try it for a while. How you making out? Yeah, sure.
Owner Alan Kurtzman is doing the same thing today.
What color shirt you doing? White. Okay.
He's done 6 days a week for 46 years.
The part I like about it the most is when somebody picks out something really sharp and you know somebody's going to compliment them about it. And that's a little different. That's such a good feeling.
Helping people find the perfect fit
I like the orange.
through some of life's biggest moments.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. It kind of brings in the brownish of there. Okay.
We've always taken pride in everything we've done here, and everything was to people's liking, and they were pleased with what we have done. So it's been good.
After nearly a century, what this store has sown can't be measured in just clothing.
I've known kids since they were little. I took care of their parents. I knew their grandparents.
It's measured in the relationships built.
The people. The relationships that I've built with them. That's what I'm going to miss. Oh, wow. That's a great pick.
As Alan is preparing to tailor a new chapter of life.
Brutal. Very emotional.
Why is that?
It's my life. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
The New York store is preparing for its final fitting in a couple of months.
It's a tough thing.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Well, I hated to come here. I didn't even want to come here for this. That hurts me. It does.
But
I love you, man.
Thank
Thanks
you
for your service. It was awesome.
Thank you.
It stood in time. I mean, it's just been the same. Beautiful merchandise, great people, great owner. It's just, like I said, it's bittersweet.
Items here will be packed away, but the story stitched into this store.
I've been coming here since I was a kid, or I used to run around upstairs when they had the boys department, stories like that.
Will remain a part of the town's fabric.
And your customers, what do you have to say to them?
I love them. I'll miss them.
On your side, Courtney Courtwright, Channel 2 News.
Some of the things that were going on in the country, which at the time I found disturbing, in terms of, some of the anti-war demonstrations and stuff like that, and decided that I would go because I thought I could help.
In 1968, as a young nursing school graduate, Joan Fury volunteered for the Army Nurse Corps. She served in Vietnam from 1969 to 70, caring for wounded soldiers and civilians.
I was 22, and the casualties were younger than I was. And of course they were drafted, they were right out of high school. And, it it was pretty amazing. And I think the other thing I touch on, because a lot of people don't realize this also, is that when you're in that kind of a setting, when you're in a war zone and you're in a hospital, you also end up taking care of civilian casualties. And oftentimes civilian casualties are children.
Fury's experiences in Vietnam inspired her to pioneer a PTSD program for veterans, and she also co-edited an anthology of poetry by women who served in Vietnam. She says the floodgates really opened after the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
You found out that there were other people that also had written poetry and had written essays or prose or, just jotted down experiences in a, pretty emotional way, but that they didn't share them. They didn't have anyone to share them with, or they were afraid to share them.
This Saturday from 1 to 3 is part of I Was There, Unknown Stories of Vietnam at the Keenan Center in Lockport. Fury will share her story along with 3 other nurses who are Vietnam veterans. You can find more information with my story online. On your side, Kelly Dudzik, Channel 2 News.
This is Buffalo's funniest 2026!
It's definitely one of the fun things that the comics look forward to in our community. Usually doing open mics and everything, but this brings it to a different level. Obviously, there's money on the line. We send our winner to the Moon Tower Festival in Austin, Texas. So typically it brings out the best in our comics.
This is kind of the highlight of a very weird time for me. I have recently jumped back into the dating pool. We're drowning.
Gotta take care of your health. I gotta take care of my health. I gotta get a mammogram. I don't want to do it, but I got to. I'm not afraid of what they're gonna find. I'm afraid that the moment I'm in the machine is the moment that the apocalypse is gonna happen.
One of my favorite old reality TV shows is a show called My Strange Addictions. Do we know it?
I've been doing it for about 4 years now. I stayed away from the contest for a little bit when I was starting, but last year I got to the semis, and this year I'm getting to the finals. So I'm improving every year. I do a bunch of mics, we put on shows all the time, all around the city. So I'm trying to just keep improving.
There's this episode of My Strange Addictions where this widow is addicted to eating her dead husband's ashes.
Do you know the Heimlich maneuver was invented in 1974? Doesn't that just seem so recent? It came along, if someone was choking, everyone would just watch. Sir, could you do me a favor, please? Could you pretend like you're choking, please? Oh my God, are you choking? Okay.
I did a lot of comedy in college, and then I finished college, and then this past year I've just been doing comedy locally and seeing how that shakes out.
That's it, folks. Give it up for your finalists! Brody walks in the arena. Anthony Tillinghast, take a sip if you drink.
It makes me feel like the jokes that I've been writing, working on, all the work that has gone into getting to this point has been worth it. So it's really cool to be here, man.
How are you going to be getting prepared for the next show?
Put together 8 or 9 minutes of jokes and then agonize over it for the next 2 weeks or so. Just sit in my room and then repeat, and just think about it nonstop for the next 2 weeks, basically, and just be nervous.
I started doing comedy about 6 years ago in my late 50s. It's crazy, yeah. And this is how I ended up. I've been doing this contest at least the last 5 years. So
those are just a few of the stories reminding us that kindness, service, and community are alive and well across Western New York. Thanks for celebrating with us. We'll see you next week.